Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of Sand and Bone, my review of Warhammer Sigmar's new Spearhead gaming pack from Games Workshop. Now, we are focusing on the new Spearheads that are in here. There's 4 of them, and the first one is Cities of Sigmar. I've divided these videos up into 4 sections, so if you're interested in one of these, you can just quickly click to them. If you want to go to the next one, it'll be the next video down in the GMG reviews, and yeah, you can just jump in. So if you haven't seen one of these before, these are basically explanations of what is in the box, how it plays, and some handy tips on what you might want to do to get the best out of the army. And the first one we're going through is the Cities of Sigmar Fusil Platoon. This is the second Cities of Sigmar one. And while the first one kind of focused around cavalry, this is the remaining units, where if you put these 2 boxes together, you would have a really good foundation for a city's army. You know, general, a Fusil major on an Ogre Warhawk, one of the maybe best all-round fighters, an Alchemite Warforger, another character, 5 Free Guild Fusiliers with a Black Powder Squire, 5 more Fusiliers, and then 11 Wild Core Hunters, which are the Hounds and Hunter models. They get a battle trait. This is fortify positions. Subtract 1 from the Ren characteristic of weapons used for attacks to target friendly Castellite units if they didn't move in the same turn. So basically, if you've not moved, your little your shieldies drop down, and you get bonuses to your, well, instead of getting a bonus to your save, you penalize the opponent's rend, which is a nice way of doing it. So we usually cover these in the sort of the build, paint, play format, and that means that we're gonna go through how easy they were to build, paint, and play. We haven't done that yet, so this is just gonna be a general review of the actual rules themselves, mostly focused on the play part. The actual units themselves, we're gonna come back to the regimental abilities and enhancements, because it'll make more sense if we do it this way. I said earlier, the all-rounder, the Fusil Major on Ogre Warhawk. Look at this guy. He's about as tough as an Ogre Tyrant. 8 health, 3+ save, 5-inch move, 2 control. He has big long Fusil. The guy, it's Master Blaster from Thunderdome. If you don't know what that is, go educate yourself. The long Fusil, 24-inch range, 3 attacks, 3+, rend 1, damage 2. He's got his Warhawk's Mace, 4 attacks, 4+, 2+, rend 2, damage 2. So he hits like a ton of bricks in melee with a 2+ to wound. He doesn't have the best to hit rolls, but there are ways of getting bonuses to that in the new Sand and Bone gaming pack. In the shooting phase, you can mark targets, and he's a Castellite, so if he doesn't move, he does penalize your rend, so that 3+ save goes a long way. Mark targets. Declare, pick an enemy unit that was targeted by this unit's shooting, and then add 1 to hit rolls for shooting attacks made by friendly units to target it for the rest of the round. So if he shoots first, the Fusiliers get +1 to hit, so they're going to hit on 3s after that, which is very cool. Your Alchemite Warforger, he's a standard hero stat line, so 5+ save, 5 wounds, 5-inch move, 2 control. He's got a Tong Staff, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, rend 1, damage D3, so kind of a standard hero stat line for doing damage. He is not a Castellite though, so he doesn't get any bonuses to hit. He doesn't have a big shield. He has Blazing Weapons. This is your bonus for your hunters, basically. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 12, and then roll 2d6 for a casting roll, and a 6+. The melees have crit mortal until the start of your next turn. Only melee weapons though. Not range, which would be great if they did. You can heat up the bullets. But then the guns would explode. And then we have our 2 units. We have the Free Guild Fusiliers. This is divided into 2 groups of 5, right? 1 health, 1 control, 4+ save. So if they don't move, they ignore a rend. 5-inch move. But only 5 wounds across the unit, so do worry about them getting wiped out. Luckily, they have reinforcements and are Castellites, making them a little bit more durable. They have their Fusil cannons, their big multi-barrel rifles, 18-inch range, which is more than far enough in this game to shoot the table. 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, rend 1, damage 1. Remember, they'll hit on 3s if that Fusil Major hits first. And then bayonets, just a garbage 1 attack, 4s and 4s, 1 damage. They have the Black Powder Squire. So while this unit has a Squire, they can shoot in combat because he's just getting them up close. And then once per turn, Army, your shooting phase, can't stop. Pick another friendly Free Guild Fusiliers unit to be the target. And in fact, remove this unit's Black Powder Squire token from the battlefield and give it to the target. So basically, he runs back and forth in between them, and that means you can save him if they're about to get wiped out, especially. And then we got our Wilder Core Hunters. I love these miniatures, possibly some of the coolest miniatures Workshop has made in the last couple years. They all have hunting crossbows, so 15, again, if you fire that guy first, everybody's going to be able to shoot, and 15-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, rend 1, damage 1. They shoot just as well as the Fusiliers with a shorter range. And then the hunting weapons, which is just your melee attacks. The dogs have a 3+ to wound. Otherwise, they're just the same with 2 attacks as a regular human attack. So 4s and 4s, 1 damage. Now, The models are armed differently. So each model in this unit is armed with a hunting crossbow and hunting weapons. The Warden also is armed with a Trailhound's Ferocious Bite, and then 4 of the 11 models are Trailhounds and armed with Trailhound's Ferocious Bite instead of the other weapons. So you have 7 models that can shoot, so you need to remember that because the dogs don't shoot guns. And they have expert trackers. This unit can use the normal move ability as if it was your movement phase, and that's in the deployment phase. So they get to push forward in your deployment phase and take a walk. No reinforcement though, so these guys don't come back to life, and there is no reinforcement card in Sand and Bone. There's just a fall back and rally heal card instead. So let's look at their enhancements. So regimental abilities, you get to pick one of these 2, and if you're attacker or defender, you have to declare before and defender after. Well provisioned, pick a friendly non-hero unit to be the target, add 1 of the wound rolls for their shooting and for the rest of the phase, and this is once per battle. So you get +1 to wound basically once per game. And then once per battle in the deployment phase, each friendly Wild Course Hunter unit gains the reinforcement keyword. Why would you take anything else? Once per game +1 to wound, or I get 11 extra models. Yeah, I'll take the 11 extra models, thanks. You only have 1 Wildcore Hunters unit, so of course you're gonna get the reinforcements. This is one of those cases of like, why would you ever take the other one? It's free models that come back to life. You would, 100% of the time, you would take the 11 extra guys that will cut like the reinforcement on your unit. I don't understand how those 2 things are commensurate to each other. And then enhancements, once per battle in your movement phase, Adept Tactician. This is all going to go in the Fusil Major. Once per battle in your movement phase, pick 2 friendly Free Guild Fusiliers units that have been destroyed and have not been replaced. And then in fact, set up a single replacement Free Guild Fusiliers with 10 models more than 6 inches from all enemy units. And the unit cannot be replaced again and does not have a Black Powder Square token. So you can have them form up into a full 10-man unit if you want, but they don't get the square anymore. Brace, you get a 6+ ward. Shield Bash, pick an enemy, it's once per turn in your movement phase. Pick an enemy infantry, war machine, or cavalry unit in combat with your general to be the target. And roll dice on a 3+, the target must immediately make the retreat ability because the ogre just chases them away with his shield. I love that ability narratively. I don't know how great it is. I guess you don't have to shoot in combat with most of your guns, except if you have the guy with the ammo. So, and then point blank volley, pick an enemy in combat with you, roll a D3 on a 2+, equal amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. So just like point blank shoot them. Yeah, I like it. 2 or 3 mortal wounds once per game. Once per turn, not even once per game. So point blank volley, again, Adept Tactician could be handy. Shield Bash, I feel, and point blank volley are the most handy of this. The fact that point blank volley is all the time if you're stuck in combat is great. Just doing mortal wounds. And then the Shield Bash pushing people, because you can push people off objectives, and it's once per turn as well. It's not once per game. So I probably wouldn't take Adept Tactician because I'd rather be in more than one place on the table. A 6+ ward isn't great. It's just not. There's not a lot of wards handed out. There's no Garan, which hands out a ward save in this like battle pack, but still, yeah, I think it's between Shield Bash and point blank volley, depending upon who you're fighting. And that's it. So there is our look at the new Cities of Sigmar. Great box. I do think that if you like, much like the Ogres one and the Ossiarch Bone Reapers one in here, and actually the Lizardmen one too, the Seraphon one, you really do get to make, if you get both of these, you have an army now. Like you really do have like a full Age of Sigmar army. It's probably close to 1,500 to 1,000, like 1,000 to 1,500 points probably between those two, with just those 2 boxes. So, and they're complementary. This is like the shooting and scouting element. You get the cannon, the knights, and the melee guys in the first one. This one adds all your guns and your cool scouts. So big fan. Love the reinforcement rules on the whatchamacallit, the Wildcore Hunters. I think this is a very good all-round spearhead, I think, for a beginner. So we'll be back with our next one, which is going to be the Seraphon. A non-dinosaur riding Seraphon. And that'll be the next video. So click ahead, and big thanks for Workshops on this longer review. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Ash. Have a good day.